If one would ask you what is the most needed product of our day, what would you guess would be the thing, the item, the thing that is the most needed right now in our days? Okay, bitachon. That's bitachon is good. What? Tshuva. You said shalom. Yeah, very good answers, but not the most. I mean, you're probably in the 10 top ones. But the thing that is most needed is happiness. Because the reality is that most people are not really happy. And in a normal situation of a human being, remove now external things. In a normal situation, a person is supposed to be happy. Okay, some challenges, some situations, but the overall feeling that one needs to have is that I'm good, I'm fine. That I'm good. I might not have now everything that I want, but I'm good. And more than that, a feeling of happiness. I'm not jumping up and down, didn't win the lottery, but I'm in general happy. If this is not the situation, which it's unfortunately not the situation, then obviously what's needed the most is happiness. When I said what's the product that is needed the most, because when you need happiness, you run after it. And you run after it and try to get it however way you can. Most likely, most people don't get it the right way, the happiness, so they pursue other ways to find happiness. Whether it's through different substance, different triggers, different stimulations, it doesn't matter. But the reality is that each and every one of us, every day, all day long, is looking for happiness. Now, if you wake up in the morning in a good mood, and it doesn't matter if the sun is shining or not, your mood doesn't get affected by the sun. If you wake up in a happy mood, most likely your day will go smooth. Smooth, not in regards to everything that you'll do will be successful. Rather smooth, you'll be in a good mood. You'll be happy. Something happy or good or positive comes your way, you appreciate it. Something negative comes your way, okay, you deal with it. In Hebrew, we call it la'achlik al zeh. You slide on it. Okay, so I gotta take it. Okay, no kapara. A lot of people are very stuck on every little thing, even if it's something little and small. But the sad reality is that most people, on an average, can say most of the time, I'm unhappy. Now, the question comes, are you unhappy because you don't have money? Are you unhappy because you're single? Are you happy because you don't have kids? Why are you not happy? Or are you unhappy because your neighbor is more successful, more attractive, more famous? Everything you do doesn't work, everything he does works. I mean, what's causing you to be unhappy? You have to make some type of analysis. A lot of people will say, I'm fine, I'm happy, but the reality is that they're not. And a lot will say, I'm unhappy, but really they have nothing to be unhappy about. Now, if we're talking constantly about happy, and happiness, what's the true happiness? Well, if I ask you each and every one, what's happiness to you? I'll say it different. We'll start the question, how would you define yourself right now? Are you happy with your life? You happy? Everything's good? Good. Whether you say good or not, yes or not, it's not important right now. The question is, what is real happiness? So every person will say something else. One person will say, seeing my kids grow. Another person will say, just I'm breathing. But most people will say, my happiness is that the business is successful, that I have a nice home, that I'm respected in the community, I have a nice car. Every person will say something else. The question is, how would you define happiness? Because I just defined it in 1,000 different ways. I'll tell you happiness is the good weather, and you'll tell me seeing my kids grow. Happiness is not music, movie, and stuff like that, that you hear it, you jump up and down. That's not happiness. That's the problem with most people, is that their state is unhappy, and then they think that a funny movie will make them feel better. They laugh for 2 hours. They forget about the world for 2 hours. They laugh. But that's not real happiness. It's just some stimulation to either push away what I don't want to feel or think about, or to get some type of a lolly because life is bitter, I need something sweet in my mouth. But the reality is that happiness is from inside and can only be from inside, and definitely not from anything basic in this world. If you get happy from something in this world, it's a stimulation. It's not real happiness. And it doesn't matter if it's 3 months or 3 minutes. Now comes even a more interesting question, because in our generation, the reality is the majority of people are unhappy. If you're looking in an average, very few people, they're very happy with what they have. They don't get so impressed by the chaos in their life. They understand that's part of the system. And overall, they're not like Mr. Smiley Face, but they're on the surface fine, happy, good. The majority are not. The majority of people, whoever I look, talk, and have some type of encounter, there is some deep unhappiness or a feeling of unsettlement. So comes down the question, so what are we missing? Really, when you're looking at our generation, this is probably the most unhappiest generation in all the times. If you take now an average person in our time and pull now an average person from 500 years ago, that they don't have a heater, they don't have a refrigerator, they don't have anything that we have, and they're happy. I guarantee to you that if you go in the time machine 300 years ago, 800 years ago, 1200 years ago, most people were more happy. Now I'm now putting completely excluding from what I'm talking about that I believe that a large amount of the unhappiness in our generation is not because anything that I'm talking about now, rather by the chemical imbalance that the world is catering. That's the easiest and nicest way to say it. The junk that's in the nutrition, the junk that's in the water, the junk that is everywhere, and the chemicals and radiation, all that will make a person sad, depressed, unhappy, and lose their hope. And that's what they want, by the way. So it's not that we're far away from the reality. But I'm putting this now aside. That's not what I want to focus on. So if I want to find a little bit more of a guiding path, I need to ask questions. So when I look at this generation and I look around, I see most people are unhappy. The first question you ask is, what are you missing? I look at my kids sometimes. My kid the other day wanted something. I said, no. So, of course, why? I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll massage you. I said, you have, I don't remember even what it was. I told him, but you have already a few. But I want another one. But a few is enough. Why do you need another one? Most kids don't even have the few that you have. And if I go back to my childhood, you look like a store. I had 2 or 3 of them, and you... So, even in our generation, if you don't have quickly your new iPhone, a cookie, whatever it is, the shirt that everybody's wearing, that's it. You're already 3 steps down from your happiness. So really, our generation has everything, but nothing. Even I look at my kids, and I not that I feel bad for them, but I had a better childhood than them. I look at my kids, I'm like, ugh. They don't even know how to do anything. You know, I was running in the fields all day long, climbing on trees, building things, hunting animals. I mean, like, it's pathetic. Even on sometimes I see on social media, they show a picture and they see like a bunch of kids like with phones, and it says 2023, and then you see a bunch of dirty kids in a puddle, and it says 1982. You know, like, you see that The fact is that you don't need any external stimulation to achieve happiness. 90% of what gives you happiness is external stimulations. Good food, good movie, good time with friends, getting drunk, whatever it is. I'm not going to start now giving you a whole list of how to find what to do. But most of our happiness is coming from external stimulations. A good song that came up and I'm like very happy. That's it. If the person, and pay attention, if a person is depending on these external stimulations, that person lives in emptiness. Empty life. Empty life, sadness. That's it. There's no other formula to that. Because it doesn't matter how much external stimulations you're going to give, food, drugs, sleeping, marital relations, doesn't matter. Person will not fulfill the void, and the person is empty. Person is empty, will start sadness, depression, confusion, loneliness, etc., etc. Any external source is just not real. And again, I have to say it as a side note. It doesn't mean that I have to be a sour face prune all day long. That's not what I'm talking about. You find happiness in going out to a good restaurant with your wife or husband, fine. Gives you a little bit of stimulation, good. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not telling you to be like this all day long. A nice item that you buy yourself makes you happy, good. I'm not disqualifying that. I'm not telling you now, be a cold piece of ice. I also enjoy a lot of things. I also enjoy good food. I also enjoy laughing and everything. I enjoy a lot of things. I still know it's external stimulations. I just look, how would I take what I love to do and somehow make it l'shem shamayim? And then yatzati midei chova. I enjoyed what I wanted and I did it l'shem shamayim. So enjoy the food on Shabbat. Enjoy marital relations Shabbat. Throw it all on Shabbat. That's when you're allowed to have fun. But any external source, external for my body, it's not real. So even, let's say, all the external sources you depend on make you happy and you find in your life, you need so much of it to fill the void. So you need a lot of food, treats, snacks, chocolates, all day long. A lot of constantly stimulations that, as soon as the stimulation wears off, boom, you need another one. Kind of like when a person is using different types of drugs. I'm not talking right now on hard drugs. That's a different situation. I'm talking even whether it's even something something that is not as severe. Whatever it is, the effect wears off. So some of the things, the effect wears off in 3 minutes, and some of the things, the effect wears off in an hour. But I'm now helping a certain individual, overcome a certain weakness. And I told the individual, I understand. Let me be a little bit more open so you understand the situation. A person is battling smoking marijuana. And I said, okay, I understand your life is a little bit chaotic. I understand that you're in a corner that no tools that I'll give you will help you. You need, like down-to-earth tools. Okay, I'm not giving you a heter, but smoke, fine. But why so much? Well, I understand life is caving down on you. I understand you have no way, no place to run to relax. And if you don't do that, eventually the kli will break. I understand all that, but why do you need to exaggerate? A little bit. To calm down the system. I mean, it's not giving you happiness. It's not giving you happiness. It's just shutting down. In this specific situation, I call it, in Hebrew I will call it a mechitza. In English I'll call it a blind. Too much light, close the light. You're closing a blind. Did you close the light? No, you know what I did? I separated myself from the reality. That's what I did. So I understand. Listen, I'm not judging. I understand. But why so much? Smoke a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the afternoon, a little bit at night. Just to calm your system. So, and why am I saying that? Because in many cases you need the external stimulation. You need a drink, you need whatever. I understand. But once you build that these external stimulations are the solution, that it's not a solution, it just makes the situation worse. So I understand in many times you have to cheat the system. I know I also cheat the system. Because sometimes you need to make an analysis. I rather lose here and gain here 5 times more. Okay, call it however you want. You can call it a yerida letzorech aliyah, descending in order to ascend. Call it however you want. How somebody told me the other day, I'm taking 1 step back to take 2 steps forward. Okay, you convinced me. If you actually take the 2 steps forward, fine. But anything external is either weak or will not sustain. And then what happens? Person becomes empty. Empty will be the root to sadness, to depression, to being lonely, etc. Good, the real good, can only come from within. Hypothetically, I'm just giving you a hypothetical situation. A person's life is a disaster. Anything you can imagine goes wrong. If the person is Torah observant, he will be happy with all the chaos in the life. True Torah observant. And by the way, I know a lot of people now imagine a black and white person with a long beard. That's a person with a black and white suit and a long beard. Torah observant, it doesn't matter what you wear. So I'm just clarifying that some people think, I have to move now to Bnei Brak to be happy. No, you need to be observant to the Torah. And it doesn't matter what you wear. Now, let's continue. Everything that I just told you is to come to the understanding is that if I do a small change from inside, I have to do it. Nobody will come and do it for you. But if I do a small change inside, it will cause a growth from inside. That's basically what everything that I just told you means if you're looking at it in the positive way. From the outside, let me quote in Hebrew and I'll translate and explain. It says, Chazal say, "Mibachut ktsar yamim." Something comes from external, it won't last long. Ktsar yamim, little days, short days. Not short days, very few days. Okay? So you can look at a situation and say, this is something chitzoni, external, it's ktsar yamim, it won't survive. It can be a relationship, it can be an excitement for a new business, it can be an idea, I'm going to move to a different country, whatever it is. You have to make analysis if it's something external or internal. I told you before that when I cheat the system or break the rules to take the step back in order to take 2 forward, then I would always try at least to find how can I manipulate the situation that what I'm doing is actually l'shem shamayim. Then you're at least you're reducing the damage. But focusing right now on what I see that many people suffer, the worst suffering is spiritual. It's from the nefesh, not physical. Of course, not underestimating any physical suffering, but the most suffering is coming from the nefesh. When a person feels completely unhappy, bad, disappointed, neglected, whatever it is, the pain that's coming from inside, that suffering is worse than any type of suffering. Now we have two options. either you tell me, up until now, the last 20 minutes that you talk do not apply to me, so I'll say go out, drink a cup of coffee, relax, or turn the video off, and good, live your life, happy. Come back to the next class when we're talking about other things. But if you are not on that side, it doesn't mean that you have to be suffering from morning to night. But if you relate with any word that I just told you right now, and you are mature enough and responsible enough and true to yourself enough to say, who am I kidding? I'm not 100% happy, then you have to listen to what our holy sages have to teach us. And I'm not excluding myself from this group. On the surface, if you ask me, I'm very happy. I'm happy with everything because that's what Hashem wants. But I will still live myself in this group because no person can say I'm 100% happy and nothing bothers me and everything is good in my life. Now again, if you ask me, I will tell you everything is good in my life. Yeah, I have a few situations that I'm dealing with, but what does that got to do with it? What everybody promised you a ironed white sheet on your bed. Sometimes you lie down on a sheet that is, how do you call it? Creased, crumpled, crimple, whatever. In a general, a person needs to have the general feeling of saying, I'm okay. I mean, I'm not here, but I don't want to now say in front of the camera, I am here, but I don't want to step on your toes, but if you relate a little bit to the topic, then sit and listen for a few more minutes. We know, we learned, we are aware that God is called the Or Ein Sof, the infinite light. And we, the creations, are called the Kelim, the Kli. The Kli is a vessel. There will always be a relation between the light and the vessel. And Hashem is the light, the Or Ein Sof, and I am the Kli. The essence of the Kli means a vessel, is the desire to receive the light. Okay? Hashem is the light. Don't imagine a light coming from a light bulb. I told you that many, many times. It's a different concept. But Hashem is the light. Hashem wants to give. I am a Kli. My essence, my basic functioning, so to say, is a desire to want to receive the light, not a candy. If the light empties out from my vessel, which can be done in many different ways, I can break the vessel, I can sin, or I can just not put more light in, or whatever it is. What would be the result? Suffering. Suffering, my suffering is suffering different from your suffering. Every person has a different level of suffering, and suffering will come when the vessel is empty of light. And remember these basic things, because if you remember these basic things, next time you're unhappy, you'll remember the vessel is empty of light, then comes unhappiness. The only extreme example I can give you is the story with Rabbi Akiva watching the Bet HaMikdash burning down and laughing. Why are you laughing? Because now I see that the prophecies are coming true, so that means that the ultimate prophecy of the coming of Mashiach will also come true. That's it. You see Bet HaMikdash burning. And he knows, okay, now I'm happy because I know we're going to the next step. That's it. Not that I'm happy about certain things, but unfortunately a few months ago when the war started, don't catch me on my tongue that I'm going to tell you now that I was happy. I wasn't, but I was happy. One step closer to Mashiach. If we're already in this level, we're closer. It's coming. So I'm unhappy for the suffering, the death, the killing, and all that, but I'm happy because, okay, we're one step closer. You get closer to the sun, you'll start sweating more. That's how it is. Yeah. So, the other way around of what I just told you, kli maleh be'or, a vessel full of light, equals pleasure, oneg. That's it. Fill up your kli. Very simple. Now we have an issue. I mentioned Rabbi Akiva. Let me mention Rabbi Akiva again. Rabbi Akiva says that we walk on our life. I'm using my words right now, not Rabbi Akiva's words. You walk on a life like on a conveyor belt, right? From the beginning till the end. And Rabbi Akiva says that there's a trap. Our life is set into a trap, and the lifeline that we're walking on is full of traps. Okay? Rabbi Akiva says that in Tractate Avot, umetzuda prusa al hachaim. Metzuda, in Hebrew, metzuda is a fortress. But metzuda in biblical Hebrew, and the Mishnah Hebrew, metzuda is a trap, malkodet. So Rabbi Akiva omer, metzuda prusa al kol hachaim, which means all my life I'll have traps that I cannot get out of. Now can you imagine you walking into a trap? Like I told you, the story with the beaver. You know, beavers are a kind of animal that when he walks in the morning to his work or whatever he does, he puts on the ground marks. So when he comes back in the evening, he goes on the marks and he doesn't need ways. He just goes on the marks. The story is that the hunter figured it out and he put a trap on the path. So the beaver starts crying, stops and he cries. Why are you crying? I see a trap. So make a detour. I can't. That's my path. That's the beaver. That's most people. You're walking into the trap. I can't. I have to go. I have to. That's most people, by the way. The trap right now can be your cigarette, your joint, your beer, your cookie, whatever it is. And a million others. But the trap that you are going to walk straight in it has nothing to do here. What is this trap? What is this trap that Rabbi Akiva tells us? Rabbi Akiva tells us that this trap has only two options. And you cannot avoid it. The two options of this trap, one of them is suffering, yisurim, and the other one is tanug, pleasure. So I'm either walking straight into the trap of suffering or into pleasure. Tanug. Now tanug, pleasure, you have to understand another basic rule. Pleasure will always pull you to the right direction. Suffering, yisurim, will pull you to the wrong direction. What does it mean? If you're experiencing suffering in your life, you're going in the wrong direction. If you're experiencing happiness in your life, you're in the right direction. That's your GPS that you need to go on. Therefore, you need to have this analysis. Suffering coming your direction. Now again, you have to be realistic here. Getting a 70 shekel ticket, parking ticket, that's not suffering I'm talking about. In regards to the definition of the Gemara, that's suffering. The definition of Yesurim in the Gemara is that you put your hand in the pocket to take out $1 and a quarter came out. That's the definition of Yesurim. I take it even to the next level. Because not always you put your hand in the pocket for a quarter. You're looking for parking for 20 minutes. That's Yisurim. Around. A little annoying mosquito at night. Doesn't let you sleep. Yisurim. This is all Yisurim. And why am I calling it Yisurim? Because it goes down. It removes from the debt you have, how much Yisurim you have to go through. Yisurim is suffering, hardship. In Rosh Hashanah, by the way, is decided how much Yisurim you're going to have to deal with the entire year. It's not that you have much of a say here. Now, one might come from the back door and say everything that you just said doesn't make sense. Because I just said that if you have Yisurim, means you're going in the wrong way. Right? But I also just said, but the Yisurim are already decided on Rosh Hashanah. So it's decided what wrong way I'm going to go to. The Yisurim that is decided on Rosh Hashanah is when you need to go through Yisurim, these will be the Yisurim. So it's decided what's going to happen if you do A, B, and C and you deserve hardship, we prepared these for you. If you don't, then we throw this to the garbage. So on Rosh Hashanah, what the suffering will be is decided. But you can easily go around it. So it doesn't have to happen. So if a person feels that life is becoming a little bit heavier than what he or she can handle, with a lot of hardship, then that person should understand, I'm going in the wrong way. If all the doors in my life are closing, smash into my face, and hardship that is a little bit more than just basic things, that's your sign in your life, wrong direction. Make a U-turn. Because the source of all suffering is a lack of something. Now, we can relate with this in this world. I don't have food now. What will be the result? I'm hungry. That's my suffering. So I can give you this example with anything. But first of all, it's true. You can't distort the truth. You're missing one thing, of course you'll have a suffering. But in the spiritual level, if I'm missing something, then I'll have a suffering. Any type of suffering. Now you can ask the $1 million question. Why suffer? What's the purpose that God makes me suffer? If God thinks that I'm going on the wrong way, can't you just send me a nice person with a nice message? Can't you just make some miracle that I understand not to go there? I'm not making a joke by sending me an email, an SMS, or WhatsApp with my situation. But the reality is, I'm now doing something wrong. God loves me. Why are you hitting me? Tell me, you're doing it wrong, go that way. I'm looking now how I relate with my kids. I can tell my kid the same message with a hit on his head and with a kiss. Right? So why are you hitting me? Give me the kiss. I can now go and start screaming at my kid, and he will do what I told him. But I can also talk to the kid, and he will also do what I told him. So if I have the ability, as a human, to one time talk to my kid in love, and one time scream at the kid, same message, why do I have to sometimes do this and sometimes do that? Just speak nice to the kid the whole time. You prove that you have the ability. So God proved that He has the ability to deal with things in a nice way. So why are you punishing me? I'm going the wrong way. You're slapping me in my face? Help me. I ask Hashem. You just told me that if I have Yisurim, hardship in my life, the sign here is that I'm going the wrong way. I don't understand it. What kind of a God is that? Don't punish me. Explain to me. Now, the reality is that if God would talk nice to us, nothing would get done. The reality is that anyone would talk nice to you, nothing would get done. Can you imagine when you get your driver's license, a police officer comes and tells you, sir, congratulations. Please don't drive fast, because if you will drive fast, it's very bad. Would you not drive fast? Of course you would be driving fast. Why don't you drive fast? Because that policeman told you if you drive fast, I'm going to take your license away. And I'm going to give you a $1,000 fine. Thank you. If these rules wouldn't apply, you think I would be driving? I would be driving 250 kilometers an hour in every highway I can. Why? Because I want to. Maybe I'll be a little bit more responsible and understand that I am a danger to other people. but it won't stop me from doing anything. So the reality is, you talk nice to a person, the message doesn't come through. But Hashem is not a person. The reason there is suffering, the reason Hashem will allow a person to suffer is for me to understand that I'm doing something wrong and to change. Very simple. If Hashem will force me, then it's forced. Hashem is giving me hardship so I can understand I'm going the wrong way. This is not working out, this is not working out, this is not working out. For the last 10 years, I'm obviously going the wrong way. Now, I will give credit now to 50% of the people that they're able to say, I'm going the wrong way. But that's where it stops. And the minority will say, I'm going the wrong way, I need to change. That's the point of suffering. If you're asking, why does God want me to suffer? Why is there suffering in the world? That's the only way you'll understand. And Hashem wants you to understand that you did something wrong, you're going in the wrong path, you're in the wrong place. But the next and final step is the important one. You need to change. And the majority of people don't change. They understand that they're going the wrong path. And path, I'm not talking about going down Rehov Yerushalayim. Going down the wrong path is how I conduct my life. And I can catch myself. Oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? Catch yourself. Reverse the situation. What are you doing? And I don't know if there's even a point of giving you examples or not. Not too long ago, a man comes to me, needs to talk to me, and he tells me, I did a big mistake. I'm still, I think I can still fix it. Okay, what's the mistake? I almost cheated on my wife. Okay, you said almost. That's it. That's what we need to work with, the almost. So the man put himself in a situation that, of course you'll get to this situation. Why do you think there's laws of yichud? Not to get to this situation. Okay, you got to the situation. But this is a perfect example. He caught himself, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? Run home, reverse it. You understand you're going the wrong way. Reverse it, stop it. Now if it's past the point, okay, sometimes you can turn the wheel, but at least fix it. The point that one needs to understand, very simple, the cause, the reason that Hashem wants you to suffer is for you to understand that you did something wrong and to change. And if you didn't do the change, you missed the whole thing. And you'll continue suffering. I need to develop the skill how to make the connection between the suffering that I'm going through, the actions that I'm doing, and what's going on right now in my life. And if you know how to make the connections, you'll see right away that your suffering is your own hands. That's it. You deal with the situation. The last option is that you dug your own hole. You blame him, you blame her. It's because of this, because of that. You're blaming the entire world instead of just saying, I dug this hole for myself. That's it. So, first of all, and most important, one needs to find how to make the connections. I'm just going to give you some examples. You got a ticket. It's annoying to get a ticket. One level is to say, Kaparat Avonot, pay the ticket and go home. Kaparat Avonot, Hashem, obviously I needed to pay something off, and this works very well when it's a parking ticket for 100 shekels. It doesn't work well when you have to pay something for like 10,000 shekels. Suddenly it's not Kaparat Avonot. Suddenly now the whole world is to blame. And why, and who, and she, and him. But the reality is, let's say I get a ticket. Right away I'm trying to make a connection. I got punished or I'm experiencing hardship with money. Must be that I did something with money. Either I owe somebody money. Maybe I did gezel in some type of a way. Maybe I promised somebody money that I'll lend them and I didn't. Whatever. It has to do with money. I did something with money. If it's 100 shekel parking ticket, then I did something small with money. If a damage of 10,000 shekels, I did something big with money. That's it. That's the connection. So you have to know how to make connections to things. This happens now. You have to do it smart, without being OCD, and not all day long, this is happening because of that. I'm talking about in a general way, not every grape you eat. Oh my God. So, with that said, that I understand what's the cause of a person or myself being unhappy. Now I understand that the source of happiness or pleasure is how full is my kli, my vessel. If my vessel is full, I'll be happy. If my vessel is empty, I'll be unhappy. So now we got very good clarification of what's going on. Now let me ask you something else. If I understand that an empty vessel will cause sadness and feeling of emptiness, then of course, I would have the concept of constantly filling the vessel. But I told you before, sometimes you break the vessel. It's not about light, you just break the vessel. What breaks the vessel? Specifically in what we're talking here right now, we're not talking here, and you have to understand, and I don't want to get too much into it because it will get confusing. When I'm saying the word vessel, very general. Right now the vessel is me. But in many situations, the vessel cannot hold the light, not because there's no light, it's because the vessel is broken. I'll give you a quick example. If I build a vessel by praying to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, okay? I'm sure you heard, not once and not twice, I need to find my other half, make a vessel. I need parnasah, make a vessel. I need this, make a vessel. I'm sure you heard that, right? I hate when people say that. It's annoying. That's the answer people would give me. What do you mean make a vessel? But going on that same line, you make a vessel by praying every day. You make a decision in your mind. I need to pray 3 times a day. You make a decision and you pursue it. You make a vessel. Now you're expecting infinite amount of light to come into your vessel and fulfill you and make you happy and content and so forth. And nothing happens. Why? Maybe the vessel is broken. If this is broken in the bottom, put as much as water you want in it. It's not going to contain the water. So how would be, for example, breaking the vessel that I built by praying? Is that I talk lashon hara, or I gossip. All the beautiful tool, all the beautiful vessel that I built from my prayers is broken. I sinned with the lashon hara, the slandering, the gossiping. So now I have even another sin on my record. But the vessel, I broke the vessel. I built it with my own prayers, and the same way that I built it, I damaged it. So now I don't have a vessel. So a lot of your effort, I'm just speaking for the... Yeah. So now I'm praying all day long, nothing happens. Now I'm going to go to complain to the rabbi. The prayers are not working. The prayers are not working? You fool. You just broke your own vessel. Zip your mouth. So every sin that I will do connected to a certain mitzvah, the sin will break the vessel, damage the vessel. So if I want to ask the one question in our topic, what breaks the vessel? What breaks the kelim for me to be unhappy? There's only one thing one needs to do to fix it, is to stop being selfish. That's it. I know it sounds very simple, but I just gave you the solution. Start thinking about others. Now, I know many will jump forward and say, what are you talking about? Of Of course I think of others. I think of my husband, I think of my kids, I think of my neighbors. What are you talking about? Thinking of your husband, kids, and neighbors doesn't mean you're not thinking of yourself. Because I can do something thoughtful to my life. Because I benefit from it. So don't be, I'm thinking of the entire world. Okay? Because it's very easy to do thoughtful things with an agenda. I have something in my mind. Or I have no agenda. It just helps me. So I'm sorry to tell you, you're thinking of yourself. When a person is selfish, and most people are selfish, there's different levels. We're all selfish. Don't pick up your hand and say, I'm selfish too. We're all selfish. We do what's good for me. That's how I operate. And doing good for you helps me, I'll do good for you. That's it. And every person, their level of selfish is different. Some people are extremely selfish. That's the ones we're talking about right now. And there are people who are less selfish, and some people are very little less selfish. But I raise my hand, I'll do the right hand if you want to be more precise. I'm selfish. But don't you think that I think of myself before I think of you? Well, where do you live? And I want to see the brave person that comes and tells me I think of you before I think of myself. Yeah, right. And I'm not talking now extreme situations, that you're saving lives. I'm talking in general. But it's very important that you don't, corner me with your experience. I'm talking very general. But the reality is we are selfish. You want to not break your kelim, you cannot be selfish. How much? Start working on it. And in order for me not to be selfish, I have to let go. Most people hold everything, I was about to say close to the heart. Most people hold it inside their existence. Now, what is it that I need to let go? I don't need to let go the fact that you did something bad to me and I'm angering you. I don't need to let go because you went behind my back and you spoke. That's not the letting go that I'm talking about. Because in many cases, if somebody did something bad to me 10 years ago and I'm not letting go, that's the not letting go I'm talking about. I'm talking about letting go something completely different. So what do I need to let go? The desire to pursue after my wills and desires and my lusts and my cravings. That's what I need to let go. Not to let go of things that happened in the past and forgive and forget. Every moment of my life, I have a very strong lust, a very strong craving to run after what I want. You, and me, and everybody. That's it. You got to let it go. You won't let it go, the whole system won't work. Because all day long I'm challenged or, I won't say challenged. All day long I'm distracted by my passions, my cravings, my lusts, my desires, and I want to pursue it. Now if you're craving a cookie, and I don't know what, some chocolate, okay, it's not that bad yet. But it's also, you practice with little things. But you have to come to the realization, you might say now to yourself, I disagree. You don't have to disagree with me. I don't invent anything. I read books and then I teach you what I read in the book. So it's not that I'm now inventing some theory and I'm now trying to sell you a product. I read a book. And instead of making it boring for you, like we're doing Shara Gilgulim, 3 years we were learning this book. Look how thin it is, and this is volume number 1. But we're learning it thoroughly. So we're reading slowly, and all the commentaries. This, I read books, I summarize it together, and I give you all the information. I'm not inventing anything, and don't come to me with complaints. I'm just the delivery. So I mainly need to let go. Now, how do you do that? Right. We're only 53 minutes. We have a 3-hour class. It's not 3 hours. We're going to finish in a few seconds. Many seconds. When a person does something positive, the light will stay. When a person will take from the light, it won't stay. I'll explain it in other words, okay? Happiness is something natural. You don't have to create it. And that's the problem what most people don't understand. It's the same thing with health. You don't create health. Just don't stop or prevent the body from doing what it needs to do. A lot of the sicknesses is because you're stopping the body from healing itself with the junk that you take. So when a person, happiness is something natural. It's not that you have to go and create happiness. Okay? And like I told you, it's the same thing with health. When a person, not that I'm a doctor, but when a person comes to me and tells me I'm battling sickness, something with sickness, then the trick here is not to go and tell them, okay, go to this doctor or go to that doctor or do this and that. Just stop preventing from your body to do what it needs to do. That's it. That's what I do. Because my body is healthy by default. It was created healthy, and it will constantly work to bring itself to the most healthiest point. I'm stopping it with how I eat, how I drink, what I eat, how I work out, when I eat. So stop. Stop preventing the body from healing itself. I learned, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, not even by being religious. Somebody taught me that Rambam said that, Rambam says a lot of things about health, but specifically how unhealthy it is to drink while you eat. Somehow it got stuck in my mind. According to Rambam, one should not drink while they eat unless it's wine, because the wine will help the digestion. That's it. That's stuck in my mind for 30 years, 40 years. So now when I look at a certain individual, I see most people drink while they eat. I'm like, why are you doing that? It's the most unhealthy thing you can do. You are flooding your stomach with liquid, enabling the stomach to digest the food from the how do you call it? The chumtziyut, not the juice, the enzyme. You're messing the digesting system for yourself, which will result in sickness. So why would you do that? The health is there. Stop bothering it. The body's healthy. Don't bother it with everything that you consume. Most people have a headache. What do you do? What do you do when you have a headache? You take a Tylenol. Did it help? Of course it helped. All you did is you numb the symptoms. You didn't went to the problem. You numb the symptoms, you don't feel the pain. But if there's some type of a problem, let's say you are dehydrated and that's why you have a headache, now you just took a pill, no headache, still dehydrated. Now the symptom will be worse. So just don't bother your body to do what it needs to do. Same thing with happiness. When you start to interfere, you're gonna destroy your own happiness. No, it's a truck loading something. So just remember that happiness is something natural and you don't have to create it. I don't have to create happiness. If I don't have money and I want to make my wife happy, and I can't buy her jewelry or clothes, that's it, I can't make her happy? Because I don't have money? That's it? I can make her happy in 50 other ways. I don't need the money. So the happiness is there. You just use what you think is the right tool to apply it. In order to conclude, let me give you the basic tools. It says in Tractate Avot, שלושה דברים מוציאים את העולם מן העולם. שלושה דברים מוציאים את האדם מן העולם. 3 things will make a person loses his world. Or, the literal translation is that you get thrown out of the world. You get ejected out of the world. Which, how would you understand that? Death. But מוציאים את האדם מן העולם, it's taking you out of the reality of this world. You live in a different reality. There's a reality to this world. For every living person, there's a different reality of the world. But the reality is that we all share the same reality. We're in the same world, same creator, etc. But I can either live in the reality of Hashem, and I'm observing the Torah, and I live my life according to the Torah, or I'm not, and I live in a completely different reality, and that's when the Mishnah says, "Motzi'im et ha'adam min ha'olam," it takes you out of your reality. You live in this world in some la la land. And that's unfortunately many, many people. One example out of many that I'll give you to see this la la land is what we saw 4 years ago with the corona. I'm not going to elaborate or add too many things. You understand what I'm saying. You see people living in a total different reality. You're like, what did you do? Are you on opium? Or what are you don't see what's going on here? So this Mishnah says 3 things will cancel happiness. That's I'm saying, not the Mishnah. These 3 things cancel happiness. The Mishnah says, "Motzi'im et ha'adam min ha'olam." I cover that in the words of you canceling any type of happiness. You're ruining any happiness you have, it will ruin. What are these 3 things? Kin'ah, te'ava, ve'kavod. Jealousy, lust, honor and respect. These are the 3 things that if you pursue, you'll be ejected from this world. Kin'ah is jealousy, te'ava is lust or desire, and kavod is honor and respect. So let's quickly analyze the 3, and that will give us the answer to our question. The first one is kin'ah, and by the way, it's not by chance the order: jealousy, lust, and honor. Nothing is by chance. So kin'ah, jealousy, almost impossible to overcome. If you have issues with jealousy, it's not something so easy to work on yourself. You're judgmental, you can work on yourself. You are quick to anger, fine. Jealousy, there's no much tools to work on jealousy. You're jealous, that's it. And, needless to say, from all 3, according to the Mishnah, the worst of all. It's the first one. I believe that most of the hate, slandering, cheating, everything, it's all jealousy. It's not that I believe because I see it with my own eyes. We're learning, Shara Kedusha, Tomer Dvara. It's jealousy. It's a big problem. How can you start reducing jealousy or dealing with jealousy? And if you don't have that problem, fast forward. But if you do have a problem with jealousy, and by the way, a lot of people don't notice that they have a problem with jealousy. It's not on the surface. But what triggers their behavior is jealousy. That's even more dangerous jealousy. But nevertheless, the only thing that can somehow fix jealousy for a person is working on your emunah. If you're jealous, by the way, you don't have much emunah. If you're suffering from jealousy, just that you know, like I told you before, if you have yisurim, you know you're not going the right way, if you are a jealous person, you don't have emunah. Don't fool yourself that you have belief in God. You have full belief. The more belief you have, less jealousy you'll have for anything. Because you know what's yours and what's yours. And what's not mine and what will never be mine. And also that mekomcha, know who you are. This person is greater than you and that person is greater than you. You're not the number one person in the universe. So the only way to start dissolving the jealousy in your system is strengthening your belief, but even more the belief in Hashgacha Pratit, that nothing happens by chance. And this hashgacha pratit that I'm talking about, the translation of hashgacha pratit is divine providence, but the two ways that one needs to work on is A, that there's a creator to the world, and B, enod milvado. That's the two channels. There is a creator to the world. That means that everything is done by him, including murders, rapes, and everything else that you see. Holocaust, 7th of October, and enod milvado. That's the two things. That's how you remove the kina. Now, I know many of you might say, I'm not a jealous person. Still do that. I also thought I'm not a jealous person till I got jealous. That's it. You don't have to be jealous twice a day. You have to be jealous once a year. That's it. Once a lifetime you'll be, then your title is jealous. Here the jealousy is here, and here the jealousy is here, but it doesn't matter. Besides the fact that, let me give you one enlightenment that I learned a while ago. You can hold yourself as a certain individual and say on yourself, I'm never jealous, or I never get upset, or I'm not judgmental. You are convinced about a certain character trait that you have. And why? Because for the last 30, 40, 50 years, you know yourself. Do you know that sometimes in the end of your life, something new in your tikkun will show up? So it could be that for 40 years you weren't jealous, and now Hashem is introducing to you a new challenge that you weren't aware of, that you don't know how to deal with. I had an issue with anger all my life. I know how to deal with anger. I don't know how to deal with jealousy. I never had jealousy. Who says that in the age of 55, suddenly Hashem is going to test me in jealousy? Who said, do you know what your tests are going to be? If Mashiach is not coming tomorrow, the next day, and chas v'shalom, the world will continue for many more decades, I have another 30, 40 years to live. Bezat Hashem. I mean, I can die tomorrow. But assuming life is, but let's jump out of the bubble, go into the example. I'm only 50. Hypothetically, I can live another 40 years. Easily. Bezrat Hashem, Mashiach will come, Chayei Netzach. I'm just saying now an example. I want to reiterate what I'm trying to say. If I now have 40 years to live, don't you think that down that 40 years are waiting many challenges? I don't know what's the challenge I'm going to have to deal with when I'm 80 or 82 or 73. Who cares? Challenges remain till the last breath. So I know which challenges I'm going to have in 20 years. I can have now 20 years of success, health, money, relationship, everything. And when I'm 60, boom, something happens. And how many people in their 60s and 70s, I see them taking a dive down to the bottom of their life, bottom of the pit. So the reality is that I don't know what's waiting for me. And even if I haven't been jealous for the last 50 years, who says that in 5 years, something will happen in my life and an individual will come into my life and will start causing me to be jealous in him? I don't know. I don't know how to deal with it. You think your life challenges stop when you mature? No. So, first thing that we need to remember is kin'ah, jealousy. Almost impossible to remove it from your system. The only way to overpower it is through strengthening your belief, your emunah, and strengthening your emunah in hashgacha pratit, in divine providence, and living your life chanting enod milvado, and there is a creator to the world. That's it. Enod milvado, there's nothing else but him, and yesh borei l'olam. That's it. Even if you're already doing it, even if you are convinced that enod milvado, you still have to chant it. Chant it, meditate on it, think it, and so forth. Second thing in the list is te'ava. Te'ava, the direct translation is lust. But we'll add on it craving, desires, and everything else. Usually, te'ava will be for something that is not good. I mean, you can definitely have te'ava for something good, but it's usually used for something not good. and not good depends on the person. For me, not good is to eat a candy. For that person, not good is to rob a bank. The not good is difference between people. But usually, te'ava is a lust, a strong desire to pull me to something, whether it's chocolate, or whether it's to be with a woman, or whether it's to go and rob a person out of his millions, whatever it is. Or you use your imagination. The only way to fight te'avot, and again, I can only speak from experience. Go back 20 plus years, I operated based on my lusts. And needless to say, as a secular individual, there wasn't any boundaries. If my lust, and I don't know if that's the problem. I think in English you can only say lust if I lust a woman. Am I correct? Can you say I lust money? Yeah? Okay. No. Okay, so somebody corrected me not too long ago and told me lust is only for the other, like for...
Everything, yeah. Desire for money.
Okay. So in Hebrew, te'ava is for everything. Okay? I can have te'ava for marital relations, drugs, food. It's the same te'ava, same title. In English, you might say craving or desire or lust, but I just want to make sure that my English and the Hebrew don't confuse the listener. So I have many te'avot. Now, I also have a te'ava to sit and learn a good book. That's a good te'ava, right? A good lust. Can you say a good lust? Is there such a thing in English? Good lust, good desire? So maybe say a good desire. Okay, so we're just trying to figure out the words here. So let me stick to te'ava, okay? When a person is driven or triggered by his te'ava, and it can happen, you're walking on the street, good smell from the bakery, you go in. What do you have? Well, just look around. It's not that I woke up and I said, I want a donut and I'm going now 2 miles to buy my donut. That's different. Here I was triggered by the smell and I went in, I looked around, that one. This is a small example how your te'ava works. How does a normal situation will kick in? When you do the first sniff, you already have to continue. Every morning I go up the stairs there to the mikveh. Happens to be that it's around the hour that the bakery down there bakes their rogalach. Please wake up one day at 4:30 in the morning and you'll understand what I'm talking about. That's all I have to say. Freshly baked. So every morning there's a te'ava. Go get yourself a rogalach. Now, is there anything wrong with rogalach? Is like a chocolate rolled pastry. There is anything wrong with that? No. It's only one. It's not that healthy, but even Rambam says that if you eat a little bit of unhealthy food, and a lot of healthy food, you'll be more healthy from the little unhealthy food. That's it. A little bit of unhealthy food is better than a lot of healthy food. Same thing here. It's one cookie, what's the big deal? I don't see any bad thing. It's not that I'm stealing the money. It's not that I don't have the money. It's not that I'm using my money instead of buying my child shoes. I'm buying myself a cake. Everything's great. I have all the permissions to buy this cookie. I bought it and ate it. That's it. I'm going to be burned in Gehenna for eternity. Is the cookie good? Now, every person will look at it completely different. In my way of looking at it, when I already smelled it, I already know the cookie's not good for you. It's not healthy. There's no nutritious things in it. I'm not in a situation that I need something sweet. If I want something sweet, when I have something sweet? When I have my coffee 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I push the coffee till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I told you that already, 50 classes already. My fight with my desire. I know it sounds maybe stupid, that my desire is coffee. That's a weakness. Yeah, I'm telling you, I have a weakness for coffee. I have a weakness for a few things. You might laugh when you hear the weaknesses, but I'm not laughing at your weaknesses. Yeah. Put a Ferrari in front of me, you'll see me on the floor drooling and moving my body in weird ways. That's it. You look at it, it's a piece of metal. When I lived in America, we lived in New York, we used to go on vacations to Florida because that's the only place you can really go on a vacation. Tons of kosher restaurants, shuls, mikvehs, everything. So every time we would go to Florida. Now going from New York to Miami, so my wife used to be happy to take me to Miami. And one time she told me something that got stuck in my mind till now, and it's funny. She was like, you know what I like about you? Other men look at women, you look at cars. I would walk down, whatever street, I'm like turning my head, look at this. Women are there half naked in bikinis and rollerblades, and I'm drooling over the Lamborghini. So my wife is happy with my tava. But okay. Every person, their tavot is different. For me, to practice what I'm telling you exactly right now, I love coffee. When I was not holding myself on a leash, I would drink 8 cups of coffee a day with not even thinking. Every hour, a cup of coffee. Is it healthy? I'm not going to get into the argument if coffee is healthy or not right now. Okay? 1 cup, it's okay. 8 cups is not okay. Now has a different problem with the coffee. Milk there is inside, there's sugar, whatever you put in there. So when I have no boundaries, then I'm not really sinning and I'm not really doing something that bad. 8 cups of coffee, what's the big deal? I'm not the only one, not the first one, not the last one. The concept that if I'm limited by any external trigger, I'm in a serious problem. I told you when I became observant, I was addicted to anything that you can imagine. And I understood that unless and until I get rid of my addictions, I can never be a God-fearing Jew. I will never be a God-fearing Jew if I'm addicted to, it doesn't matter if it's cocaine, alcohol, cigarettes, or Netflix. It doesn't matter. And especially I gave extremes of cocaine and Netflix, because one might say, cocaine, that's a horrible addiction. Netflix is also a horrible addiction, and Facebook and Instagram, just as bad. Sitting like this for 3 hours, I'd rather take cocaine.
You're more productive.
No? I'm sorry to tell you, don't get offended. I also have a smartphone. I also go on all the social media that you go on. For a second maybe. To check, to look, to see. Like that. But to sit with your phone, my friend, for 1 hour in Instagram, or doesn't matter if it's YouTube Shorts, or it doesn't matter. But to go like that and to be triggered by a 30-second video, you all are guilty, by the way. Don't move your head down. I think this is worse than cocaine. I'm exaggerating, by the way. Don't now make titles that Rabbi Anava is promoting drugs. I'm not promoting drugs. I'm just saying that... Exactly. Thank you very much. Addiction is an addiction. It doesn't matter if it's something that can kill you or if it's something that is minor. Exactly. Thank you. So when I became observant, I was like, I cannot put a yarmulke on. You know, for 3 years, I didn't even know what a yarmulke. I was embarrassed to put a yarmulke. Embarrassed from Hashem, not from people. Think I care what people think about me? I was embarrassed to put a yarmulke. I felt I'm not even ready to stand in the presence of Hashem. And you know what? It was probably right. Only after 2.5 years from my near-death experiences, when I actually started becoming Torah observant, 2.5 years was just preparing the system. I mean, I put tefillin, I started putting tefillin on, I started eating kosher. I just won't eat meat and dairy. That was my kosher. I started doing Kiddush on Shabbat. It was a process. But only after maybe 2.5 years, that's when I was physically, emotionally, mentally ready. Okay, now I can put tefillin on every day. Now I can pray every day and not feel like embarrassed from the Master of the Universe. So going back to the te'ava, we all have te'avot. Every person desires other things. Some people know how to control their desires. Some people don't know how to control their desires. Whatever happens, you cannot serve God perfectly if you are distracted by all these desires. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with all your desires? The only trick, I shouldn't say only, there are many ways. But the best and most suggested by our sages is to reduce the things that are allowed that I don't need. In Hebrew it's called mutarot. Start reducing the mutarot. Mutarot is you need food, but do you really need Coca-Cola, Fanta, 7-Up? Drink water. Oh, drink something healthy. And again, this is not even a good example of mutarot. Mutarot, I think it's called, not accessories. Excessive. No. Too much of everything that I don't need. Yeah? Reduce this. It's like the coffee. That's a perfect example. I don't need 8 cups a day. 1 is enough. And you know what? Make that one special. That's when you sit down and have my cup of coffee with a cake, talk to my wife or whatever. Once a day. You do it 8 times a day, it's not fun anymore. It's a need. It's a desire. It's something that you need to fill in. So I give you an example with coffee. You want to watch something on Netflix? You don't have to watch 7 episodes back to back. 1 episode every 3 days. Reduce the mutarot. You go to a restaurant, I want this, and this. Hello, you're not eating half of it. Today I took my kids to get like a shake, like a fruit shake, okay? The place gives you a cup this big. I told both of my daughters, share a cup. Choose the same flavors and share the cup. No, I don't want her flavor. You're never going to finish it. I want a full cup. Never in your history of your 8 years of your short life have you finished a whole cup. Half. You know what? Finish your halves, I'll buy you another half. I go to a restaurant, I order what I know I'm going to eat. Of course I want a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And again, I feel that my examples today are not good. About the excessive part. You use your own imagination. Where you're wasting too much of something. That's the way you start reducing the te'ava. Guarantee. If I don't hold myself under control and I'm letting myself go 8 times a day for coffee, and in my mind it's okay, everything will be okay in the same level. So the coffee is okay. But another thing that would be a sin, my mind takes it as it's okay. So many times, and you have to remember this golden nugget, many times people pursue after something that they don't need. I see people, Baruch Hashem, I have good experience. People come to me all day long to talk to me. I don't know why, but they come. Maybe I look like a wall and they come to cry and put a note in my cracks here. But Baruch Hashem, listen, Hashem, that's what Hashem wants. I accept. I'm telling you straight out, I don't like it. I don't like people coming to my door all day long. And people come at 11 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and all day long. You might not see it, but all day long. Phone calls everywhere I go. So it's sometimes it's too much. And as it is all day long, half of what I do is answering emails, WhatsApps, phone calls. So I can tell, so why am I telling you that? Not to show up. I'm telling you because I see people all day long and I deal with people all day long and I hear how people deal with their challenges all day long. And Baruch Hashem, Hashem also gave me a little bit of more sensitivity to see the situation as is. I can tell you that most people run after things that they don't really need. That's it. You understand it how you want to understand it. The mutarot, these excessive things, they do huge damage to the soul. Huge. I'll do like Trump. Huge. I'm putting myself in danger now saying Trump. One of my videos I said something about Trump. I got attacked from a lot of people. I don't care about Trump. It's these small mutarot, and it can be big by the way, but these mutarot, they do the biggest damage to your soul you can imagine. So when I keep drilling into your brain that I'm drinking 1 cup of coffee a day, take this example. And by the way, now it's already reduced to every 3 days. Every 4 days I have coffee. And again, it's a perfect example, the coffee. And for the ones who don't know, I'll say the example again. I used to drink all my life, since I remember myself, 13, 14, constantly coffee. I never counted even how much coffee. It never even occurred to me, a lot of coffee, a little bit of coffee. It was a normal thing. You are a smoker. I was a smoker till I was 27 years old. And when I was a teenager, it was not a lot, but in my 20s, I would smoke 2-3 packs a day of Marlboro Red. All in on, cigarette in my hand. So psychologically, you know how I quit? Psychologically. Hypnotism. Yeah, that's how I quit. Switch the order in your subconscious. You don't want cigarettes anymore. That was my proof how strong the brain is. So after I was able to quit smoking, I was able to quit everything. And things that the body doesn't let go so easy. I abused drugs for 6 years. It's not so easy to get out of that. I'm not talking about marijuana and sleeping pills. So the coffee, nothing wrong with it. But like a smoker that keeps putting a cigarette into their hand, why do you need so much cigarettes? Smoke 3-4 cigarettes. Why need 20 or 40? Well, I'm addicted. So the same way that a cigarette smokers pull cigarettes every second or every few minutes to their mouth, I used to do it with coffee. It was a normal thing. Coffee's on the table the whole time. Now again, one might think, what's the big deal, coffee? It's the idea that I let myself go and I do not know how to control myself and that I crave something that is not even good for me. If you crave something that is good for you, good. If you crave something that is not good for you, then you're doing damages, serious damages to your nefesh, to your soul. That is very, very difficult to fix. Therefore, the answer to te'ava is reduce things that you don't need. Control your urges, control your lusts, control your desires. You like eating a certain something sweet, keep it to the end of the day. That's what I do with the coffee. Not only that I reduce the amount, I already now pushed my desire to the end of the day. Because what do you do first thing when you wake up in the morning? You go to what you want. Whether it's a cigarette or coffee or... So by me pushing the desire till the afternoon, that's me saying, I'm the boss. You're not going to tell me when I'm drinking you, or how much. I run the show here. And if I don't want to have coffee today, I'm not going to even have coffee today. This model works on everything big also. When I master this model with the coffee, this carbon copy to anything. As the famous saying, it's called barosh. It's everything in your hand. It's priorities. It's understanding. So the way to reduce the te'avot, now, this is the golden nugget. If I have issues with te'avot, a man looks at a woman all day long. How do you solve it? Put something on your eyes. Move your head down. Go live in, Chelsea, where the old men there. What's your solution? How do you control your te'avot? How do you control your lusts and your desires? You reduce the mutarot. That's it. You know how to reduce the excessive things, the little things?
Excessive is too much.
But I'm saying, so excessive and acceptable.
Too much is...
Too much, yeah. The coffee, that's what I'm talking about.
Acceptable.
But I'm talking now that I desire or take something too much. Too much of it. Excessive. And again, I'm going back to the example with the coffee. How many cups of coffee you drink a day? 1, 2. You want to drink 6? You control yourself. So when I know how to control myself with something small, and I know how to put in perspective the something small, it helps with the big. When I started controlling the little things, not to run every 2 seconds to the fridge, not every store that I go in I have to buy something, not every bakery that I pass I have to buy a something tasty. It's permissible. No sins. It's not that because of me somebody will suffer. And again, I'm stuck on the coffee and the rogalach, and you use your imagination. It can be 1,000,001 things. But the second that I know how to control the little things, the big things will follow through. And then the big te'avot I know how to control. Because I already have in my system the right chanting in my mind. This is not good, something bad will happen, whatever you need to stay in your mind. But I know the mechanism of controlling what I want. I, as an individual, till I did tshuva, I didn't have any control on anything that I wanted, and it was the complete opposite. That I wanted something, if I don't have it right away, there's going to be problems. So, and I was like, I'll take whatever I want, as much as I want, whenever I want. And if you stand in my way, there's going to be a problem. Now, start controlling it. Yeah, I have a fridge in my house. You don't have to open it every 20 minutes. How many times a day do you open the fridge? A day? 3? Exactly. 3, 4. To make your meal. And it's very unhealthy to all day long. Very unhealthy. And that's another type of desire. Here a gum, here a candy, and here this. And we got the point. And again, just that we summarize the te'ava. Te'ava can be food, and te'ava can be drugs, can be women, can be gambling, but all have the same common denominator. The stimulation. These little things that stimulates you to get your attention. That's the problem. And this stimulation moves you away from good. Next. We had kina'ah, te'ava, now kavod. Kavod means honor. Honor, respect. I call it magia li. You know what's magia li? I deserve it. That's it. That's kavod. Now, kavod, it's not only that I want from you kavod, honor. When I say magia li, I deserve everything. Your honor, your respect, your flattering. Kavod starts with, what are people going to say about me? The other day I did something, literally yesterday I did something, not that bad. My wife told me, it doesn't make you look good. 20 years you're married to me, and you don't know that I don't care what people think? It doesn't make me look good? I only care how I look in the eyes of God. I don't care how I look in your eyes. I'm not saying it chas v'shalom in a rude way. That's the personality. And I laughed to my wife. It doesn't make me look good. You think I care what you think about me? Now, it's not that I don't care. I wake up in the morning, I still brush my hair to look representative. I don't walk with slippers, but I do that. Everything that I do is I do because the Torah told me to do. It's not because I care what you would say. Never have happened in my life that I got myself ready before a class and say, let me wear the blue shirt because so-and-so will probably like it in the class. What? Most people care what people will say about me. Most people do or don't, what will they say? That's kavod. Any action that I do, I care what will people say. I drive this type of car, what will people say? This is how I dress, what will people say? I don't want to do that because people will say. There's not much to explain about kavod. The only one who deserves the kavod, which means honor and respect, is Hashem. That's it. I need kavod. I need you to give me respect or honor. I don't need you to do anything like that. Don't call me Rav, don't call me Rabbi, don't kiss my hand. I don't need you to do that. I'm as equal to you. I am not different than you. In any way. And you're no different than me, by the way. I mean, you have your qualities, your characteristics, your good things. I mean, but on a whole, we're the same thing. I need you to respect me? Why? Well, give me one now good reason why I need you to respect me. Besides that I'm a human being, and I'm not talking about the basic respect between human beings. If I demand you to respect me, why? I'm older? Because I'm smarter? I'm richer? Why do I need to get your respect? And that means that you need to respect me. I know many people that are smarter than me and I don't respect them. And again, I'm not talking about the basic between two human beings. That's not what I'm talking about. That's basic, that's required between every individual. And of course, you need to respect your parents, your teachers, respect authorities. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about that a lot of people walk with the feeling that you need to... Okay, exactly. You need to listen to me because honor, respect, any person that runs after honor, you will never get it. You run after honor, you will never get it. The ones who get the respect and the honor are the ones who don't care about it. But we have to understand, there's not much long to say about kavod. I just told you that it's magia li. Magia li is I deserve it. When I was young, I thought everything I deserved. Why? Because it's me. Don't you know that I'm the number one citizen in this planet? You didn't hear it? How didn't they tell you that in elementary school? When you run into Alon Anava, you have to salute. Of course you know that. So when I was young, I thought that I deserved the world. The distortion in the kavod was not the kavod, for example, that might now be as an option. Different. But I will choose to summarize kavod in these two expressions. One of them is magia li, I deserve it, then delete it. Lo magia lecha klum, you don't deserve anything. And the second thing is, what is it going to say about me? Which who cares what they're going to say about you? And of course, in reason. Don't do whatever you want. You also, let me put you where what will people think about me is important. Because I also care. I told you bluntly that I don't care what you think about me. But I do care what people think about me when it comes to representing God. So I do care what people think about me when I'm representing God. I don't care if you think about me on a personal level. Okay? But I do care what you think about me, how I behave and conduct myself when I'm representing Hashem. So when I lived abroad, I lived in America, it was one of my highest priorities of how I behave and talk to other people, because I knew I'm representing God. And if I behave in a not nice way, I'm giving a bad name to Jews, the Torah, and God. So here's a perfect example when I care what you think about me. So please take everything that I say in the right measure. But when I was younger, my kavod was like that everybody's beneath me. Everybody has to listen to me. I'm better than everybody. You can call it ego, but it's pursuing this kavod. When you don't hold yourself as something that great, then you just don't expect the honor and the kavod. Or the only trick here that I found is to come to the realization, and it takes a long time and mainly reading a lot of books, is to understand that the only ones who deserves and needs to get the respect is God. When you understand that, you have no desire or need for respect. When it's given, you're happy. When it isn't, you don't care. That's it. Now, let me summarize everything. We talked about the fact that many people are unhappy, which I explained that's referring to how much your inner vessel is full. Your universal vessel is empty, you won't be happy. You'll be unhappy, you'll be unsatisfied, etc. You got the point. The major things that we need to focus on, now that I understand everything that I told you, is the three things that will take you out of the world. Because when the Mishnah says, Motzi'im et ha'adam min ha'olam, you live here, but you're not here. You're not benefiting from what's going on in the world. You're not producing or being productive in any type of way. Therefore, we got our detailed explanation of the Mishnah, the three things that will do that for me, and change it. Very simple. Now comes one more thing to, so to say, the icing on the cake, or the cream on the how do you say it? The cherry on the cream, the cherry on the top. Cherry, pineapple, coffee, whatever you want to, I'll take. In order to take all these three things and to apply it the right way, it would only help if you live your life in gratitude. If you are not thankful to Hashem for everything, the three steps that I told you won't work. I gave you a lot of heavy information here. I wanted it to be a short class. It's shorter than the usual, but nevertheless, there's no other ways to shorten this class. But why I'm so eager to share the information now, we just entered 2 months of Adar. Mishenichnas Adar marbim besimcha. This is not something that you, of course, you have to initiate. But the energy of these 2 months that we're going to be spending now, that's the energy, is increasing the level of simcha. If we're all going to be in the right level of happiness, Mashiach will come faster and easier. That's the fact. We're stressed, angry, upset, sad, desperate. Mashiach will come, but not easy and might take longer and harder. If we all change our entire life to everything that I just told you now, first of all, we all need it. Nobody wants to live sad. Nobody wants to be unhappy. Nobody wants to feel neglected. Nobody wants to be left out. Every person deserves to be happy in their arba amot. I don't need much. I don't need the whole world to love me. I just need a few people. I need a few good friends, a few good people around me. Live your life. Nobody deserves to live in such a situation. And when I'm saying nobody, I'm talking about normal people. I'm not talking about Hamasnikim now and Hezbollah. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about normal people. You deserve to live happy. You deserve to be content. You deserve not to be upset. And it's not that all your challenges will disappear. You'll have challenges. But, I like working out. You know that you can only be productive when you work out when it's hard. That's it. You work out and it's not hard, you won't be productive. You want me to say it again? If you work out and it's not hard, it won't be productive. Very simple. You want results in your physical workout, it's only when it's hard. 4 years ago when I was sick, after a certain while, I was like, okay, I gotta, what's the word? Not rehabilitate. I had to rehab myself. I was very sick. Since my lungs got hurt, so I started going and walking in the forest every day, walking in the forest, fresh air, walking. Then I decided to start running. So when I ran, what did I run? 100 feet. And so what's the natural decision? Stop. You're going to choke. But that's not how you're going to reverse the situation. When you are at the end of breath and you're choking, now run. Now that piece of the running, that's what's going to make the change. Not till you got to the point of exhaustion. That's it. So that's how it is, everything in this world. That's why our sage says, Kabbalah and Zohar, accept the hardship with love. It's the Kadosh Baruch Hu now giving you now the cure. The cream on the crop, the cherry on the top, call it however you want, is called Hakarat Tov. Because whenever Hakarat Tov means gratitude, appreciative. Because when our life is not going that well, but I know to appreciate the bad or the less bad or the little things, then that's where the Kadosh Baruch Hu melts. That's where you melt his heart. When you say, I accept the hardship. I'm probably guilty one way or another. I deserve it. And thank you for that too, and thank you that it's not worse. When I'm dealing with a situation, and thank God I'm dealing with a lot of situations right now in my life, just my family, I have 7 kids, dealing with 7 kids. Every kid is a whole life you need to deal with. Small kids, small problems. Big kids, big problems. So my hands are full. When something comes to my direction, the first thing that I say is I thank Hashem that it's not worse than what it is. That's it. You live in gratitude, you live in being thankful to Hashem for the good, for the bad, for the not so good. All these elements will eventually make your vessel strong, clean, full of light. And when your vessel is full of light, godly light, then you're happy, you're content, you're satisfied with yourself. You know how to deal with situations. You don't fall to despair. You don't fall to depression. You're healthy. You radiate happiness. You make other people happy. You make other people feel confident. And needless to say, the turmoil that we saw up until now, which is nothing to compare to what we're going to see very soon, to finalize the process of the coming of Mashiach. When I said many, many times in the past, many people won't survive the coming of Mashiach, is because they don't have the spiritual vessels to handle what they're going to see with their own eyes. That's why. Therefore, when you apply everything that I just told you, nothing that will happen in the world, positive or especially negative, will phase you till the coming of Mashiach. You'll just be sitting and waiting for Mashiach to come and understand that every part that happens in the world, you already mastered your emunah and hashgacha pratit and everything, and you're just waiting for Mashiach to come, and you operate on the best version of yourself. And needless to say, you become more productive, more happier, more good to others. When you're in this level, then you attract to yourself the right people. You attract yourself all these positive things. And life slowly kind of straightens out. And it doesn't mean that all your dreams are fulfilled. Like I told you before, most people pursue things they'll never have or they don't need. That's why I stopped thinking of things that I need. I already, at this point in my life, I let God give me what I need, because I know He knows better than me what I need. When I pray to Hashem, I said, just give me what I need. I'm not running after anything. You give me what I need. That's what I need. Which means that if you didn't give me more, I don't need more. Isn't that a simple equation? If you didn't give me more, means I don't need more.